insurgency are deadlocked and military action is likely. The AU has called another meeting for next Wednesday.
The Security Council of the African Union will soon make its decision, based on our work here in Bamako. We hope then to return to the UN Security Council within the 45-day period stipulated under Resolution 2071, and to present it with a document agreed upon by the entire international community.
Mali's interim president said on Friday that military action supported by foreign troops was urgent. But the international community is refusing to commit itself until the political dithering in Bamako ends. Included in yesterday's declaration was the demand that the interim government hold free and transparent elections before the end of April of next year.
The United Nations Security Council has formally accused Rwanda and Uganda of backing the M23 rebels in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Security Council has warned it will press fresh sanctions against the two countries. And supporters of jailed Senegalese sect leader Serigne Béthio Thioune have demonstrated in Dakar. The demonstration turned ugly as the mob went on the rampage, burning 2 vehicles in the capital. The crowd is calling for the release of the controversial sect leader who is serving jail for his part in the murder case. We have details of those stories in this report.
Following a recent report linking Rwanda and Uganda with the M23 rebel movement in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, the UN Security Council formally accused both countries of backing the rebels. The Security Council expresses deep concern at reports indicating that such support continues to be provided to the M23 by neighboring countries. The Security Council threatened to impose fresh sanctions against Rwanda and Uganda. Both countries deny any link to the Congolese rebel movement. Several thousand Egyptians rallied in Cairo on Friday against Islamist influence in politics and society and against the assembly, which they say is not representative enough. The demonstrators marched from several points to Cairo's central Tahrir Square. The march ended peacefully, unlike a similar protest last week that degenerated into clashes. The rally was organized by several groups that helped galvanize the popular uprising which overthrew President Hosni Mubarak last year. 2 people were seriously injured and 2 buses set on fire during a rally in Senegal demanding the release from prison of religious leader Sheikh Béthio Thioune on Friday. 200 supporters of Thioune had gathered in front of Dakar's prison demanding his release. Although calm at first, it degenerated into violence by the end of the day. Béthio Thioune was jailed in April after being found guilty of involvement in a murder. The Senegalese capital Dakar is celebrating the 100th anniversary of the first university hospital in French-speaking Black Africa. Aristide Le Dantec Hospital was named after the French doctor who became the institution's first director. The hospital has the capacity for 1,000 patients, but the equipment is outdated. Discussions on a new hospital are in progress.
At least 8 people are reported killed in a car bomb blast in a Christian neighborhood in Beirut, Lebanon. The blast left Lebanon's head of intelligence dead, with many more others injured. Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati has tendered his resignation, but President Michel Suleiman has asked Mikati to stay on. The bomb blast is the first such major bombing in Beirut since the killing of former Prime Minister Rafik Hariri in 2005. We have details in this report.
It has been a day of mourning and of violence in Lebanon following the car bomb explosion that killed the head of state intelligence Wissam al-Hassan on Friday. The car exploded in the heart of the well-to-do Christian quarter of Ashrafia in Beirut as the car carrying General al-Hassan went by. 8 other people were killed and almost 90 were injured as windows of buildings were blown out. I heard what everybody heard. The loss of material things is not a problem. We Lebanese are used to that. It's not a problem if houses are destroyed. The problem is the loss of lives. We are used to replacing glass windows since 1975, but for people who lose their loved ones, it's a problem. Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati said he had offered his resignation, but that President Michel Suleiman asked him to stay on. Wissam al-Hassan was a powerful Sunni Muslim close to former Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri. He had carried out a number of investigations on explosions in Lebanon since 2005, with results pointing to Syrian strongman Bashar al-Assad. May God have mercy on you, and God help your mother and father and your whole family. Whom are you accusing? Bashar Hafez al-Assad. Lebanon's opposition March 14th alliance bloc has called for the government to resign. We hold Prime Minister Najib Mikati personally responsible for the blood of the martyr General Wissam al-Hassan and the blood of the innocent who were killed in Ashrafiyeh. The government includes ministers from the radical Islamic Hezbollah party, a close ally of the Assad regime in Syria. The Hezbollah condemned the killing of the intelligence chief Friday. Sunni Muslims took to the streets across Lebanon in protest against the killing. There are fears of sectarian violence between Sunnis and Alawites.
Well, we're going to take a very short break now. The news continues in just a moment.
Tabaski grande ambiance defoon nañ ko daaw fekkee déwén waaye bii dina mel ne téeméeri yomb ci benn bouteille la Pape Tobène from Dakar Sénégal Pape Tobène with the brand new single la mu ne fan laa koy tëggee Gambia sunu réew Gambia parallèle
gars yi xam ngeen ne dina cuq dina neex dina mel ni sonkoron nga ca Banjul waaye nag sonkoron gi ci pénc bi laay indi ren
ànd seek top Gambian artiste T-Small Balarance G Lady Dixa Mandi Mori Drokila Pape Tobène nee na Gambia parallèle ndaxte damay àndandoog sama doomu ndey le roi des arènes Balla Gaye 2 ak kan kii di Sa Thiès ànd seek top branch from Dakar Sénégal
man la Balla Gaye leen yow de génn waay maa ngi masawu ku ndox bi jël sa dëkku waay sama xol a fees ndox ci seen kër yi fees
Gambia parallèle fan lay xewee at the new home of entertainment penc mi nekk fan ca Paradise Suite Hotel Pape Tobène nekk ci bëy naka yegg si en live band
sama junni bi ay waay caaxun lay sama junni bi ay waay caaxun ci penc bi.
Welcome back to GRTS News. Members of DR Congo's 1974 victorious team at the African Cup of Nations have taken legal action against the government. Many of the players of the Egypt 74 team are struggling to live decent lives despite helping their country's African Nations Cup triumph. We have details of that story in this report.
There was a small crowd gathered at the bedside of Pierre Ndai Mulamba, a former star in the world of football in DR Congo. His nickname was Mutumbela, the goalkeeper eater, because he took them to pieces. In 1974, with the national Leopard team, he won the African Nations Cup trophy in Egypt. He was the leading goal scorer in Africa, scoring 9 goals in 6 matches. Today, at age 64, Pierre Ndai Mulamba is sick. Admitted to the hospital in Kinshasa, the former football star cannot afford the treatment. His heart condition calls for advanced testing, but with little money, this is a problem.
The hospital administrator said I had brought much joy to the country. They had a meeting and declared that they could not let me pass away. They even said they would risk having their own financial problems as long as I got back on my feet.
After taking part in the glory days of Congolese football, Pierre Ndai Mulamba now feels abandoned.
Try to understand that the state awarded these men high-level diplomatic status, and now the state is making sure that they remain poor. This doesn't make sense.
The former football stars have decided to take legal action. They are taking their case to court to receive a financial aid package so they don't end up on the streets.
Well, from sports, a reminder of our top stories before we go. Efforts at managing tuberculosis cases have topped the agenda during a meeting to review and update the Gambia's existing TB manual. NARI and partners have intensified efforts to increase crop and livestock production in the country. And African leaders have attended a meeting in Bamako to help Mali crush the insurgency in the north of the country. An angry protest have spread across Lebanon a day after a powerful car bomb kills the country's intelligence chief, Wissam al-Hassan. Well, you're reminded that you can monitor GRTS radio live on our website, which is at www.grt